some stuff on Twitter. Uh, I put that in potential watch list. Something called SST Beyond and IPOFSD. I don't even know what the heck those are. Besides Beyond, I don't even recognize any of those tickers. Let's see if we can find a trade around that. But to the most part, I will stick to SPX today. In some, of course, I have to get into Tesla though. But yeah, pretty much looking to stay in SPX today. All right, so let's jump into it. Okay, futures. First thing first, markets went down yesterday, and right about where were we? Where did we leave the futures? What is this? What time frame is this? Okay, 5 minutes. Why am I looking at 5 minutes? All right, so futures. I think left the markets closed somewhere around. I think here. Yeah. So last minute rally came right back down, and this is a very recognizable pattern. Goes out, right, hits the mean, comes right back down. So this is a very recognizable pattern, and this is, I'm sure, this is bouncing off of some level on a higher time frame. But came right back down, started to bounce back up, and got overbought again, and starting to come back down now. And it hit the mean to a T. Now it could bounce from here, and looks like we still have some more room to the downside. But usually this bounce would be a ephemeral bounce, depending on what market direction are we taking. If it's a downward direction, this will be an ephemeral bounce, and later it will pierce it and come right back down to this lower Bollinger Band, inner lower Bollinger Band. And after that, if it's still pointing down on a higher time frame, we could push down to the standard deviation here, 44.54. But yeah, it seems like we will at least push down to here, 44.68, and let's see what happens after that. And on the 4 hour time frame, we are still in an uptrend. If it crosses this line here, which it is struggling to do, rejected, rejected. And if it does clean here, then we're looking for a push into at least 21, 45.11. Yesterday's high was, I think, 45.04 for S&P. On the daily, this is the downtrend that is continuing, and it's supposed to go hit the mean here, but that still hasn't happened. So my expectation is for that to happen. And right now it bounced off of this 50 and pushed back into its 200, came right back down, sitting at 21 here. Now I think the predominant move would be to the downside. Uh, and I think 44.52. If it pushes down, then mean will be tested today, 44.52. And I'm not. So this is my base case to the downside. The mean is the base case on the futures to the downside. If it breaks, then we are looking for 44, 12, or 13, whatever this number is. This is what we are looking for. Now the thesis here is once you enter this inner Bollinger Band, the chances of hitting the mean are exponential. Once you hit the mean, the chances of it hitting this lower inner Bollinger Band are exponential. So going by that thesis, then we might witness a 44.07 somewhere, most likely, today, or I don't want to push it onto tomorrow. If this happens today, good for all of us. We can look forward for the next cycle, the next week. So I want this to break the mean and push down. Here is huge support for the futures. About here 44, and then 44.49, and then coming back down to 44.30. So even if futures push down all the way till here 44.06, it would not be in a straight line. It would keep bumping around all of these MAs. 44.60, then you have 44.48, then you have this 44.28. All of these MAs will be bounce points. But the way that this should work is it has to pierce the mean and go down to this number. So let's see how that plays out. Of course, I'll be monitoring the situation, and whatever I see, I will be commenting about it over the voice. Cool thing. Now coming back to, uh, let me switch my screen. Can you see my screen? I switched the screen.
Yeah, we see SPY.
Cool. So this is SPX. Let's see what are we looking for SPX. Let's go by SPY, and SPY currently trying to push down, and futures are in agreement with whatever is happening. Futures were up, but right now they are coming back down, and I think the futures will continue. It's If you see the futures in the 15-minute, they are trying to break a major moving average. If that happens, and then we will look to push down into 44 or 54. Yeah, 44.50s. 44.50, I think, is where the mean is sitting for the futures. But besides that, so this will keep coming down based on that. Where will it push down to? Around here, 44.19. So SPX 44.54, a break below here. Yesterday's lows, it will push down into this number, 44.19. That's my expectation. And I think SPX will open somewhere around here, 44.60, somewhere around here. And this would be my base case, would be my yesterday's lows. Base case would be yesterday's lows again. And after that, a push down to this number, 44.20. This will be a bounce spot. And let's look for a better. Here is, so yesterday we did not touch the mean, right? Everybody noticed that. Stopped here. We did not go below here. We did not touch the mean. The reason for that is, and if we go here, what the heck is this? So the reason for that is this. See that? To a T, it came back down to the 8. On the monthly, hit the 8 and bounced off of that. Even though the mean was sitting just about 3 points down, it did not let it come down to that. It hit at 8 to a T and bounced. So it's always good to have the higher time frames in mind. So if that breaks, it is bouncing off of a good level, so keep that in mind. But if that breaks, and we are looking for a push down into 44.37, and after 44.37, we are looking for a push down into 44.18. So 44.18, I'm expecting it to be a bounce spot. It has a lot of 44.18, 44.10 to 44.18. This spot should be a good bounce spot. And then should that break, then we will push into 43.98. So give or take 4,400. That's the game plan for SPX. And on the SPY side of things, Uh, let's see if we can test the lows of the day again from yesterday, 443.40 or 443.50, and it should there should be some sort of a bounce, expecting that to be an ephemeral bounce, then push down for SPY into 440.79. A break there will put SPY squarely around 438.80. So 440 for SPY. Not the base case though. The base case would still be here, 443.60 something. 443.60 something. This is still the base case to the downside. Upside here is where I think the upside should be. The base case for the upside, if it clears 8, 446.55. So this should be my base case for upside. 446, 45, somewhere around this. If we break that, then we'll push into 447.70. Uh, there should be, if it breaks here, then there will be a breather here. No questions about it. 447.70, 448 area, there will be a breather. I'll be looking to scalp this thing most of the time today. Want to get my, that active trader thing uh, worked out, and I'll be live streaming that stuff. On the Q side of things, Nasdaq still has room to the downside. This has to complete for Nasdaq. 13 or 712, whatever not, this has to be done for Nasdaq. And again, yesterday Nasdaq, I think it did. Where is that? Yeah, here. Nasdaq, I think it needs to come back down and test that whole number again, and probably I think it will push down into this number, 13,776. But we will see how it opens, and we'll see how this thing gonna work. And based on this, we will derive the SPX levels as well. I'm not going blindly just by this. And on the Q side of things, 352 is where it is. I think it will bounce around 350.60 if it comes down to here. And then if it breaks 350.70, something like that, and we can easily push into 348.89. And let's reassess the situation there. And to the upside, this is where 354.65 is where the 50 is sitting. So this will be tested to the upside. Yeah, these are bouncing off of those daily levels, but this still needs to come back down and tested. Whole thing. Uh, and not going into rut because it is oversold, George. Yeah, today I'll be into scalping mode. Not maybe half the day. Let's go back to screen two. All right, I just switched my screen. Right, Tesla, this thing, yeah, well, traded almost all day, every day. So this is still, the downtrend is still intact unless this whole gigafactory, whatnot, Austin Giga changes things a bit. If not, I think we're still looking for a push down into this number, 1016 to the upside, 1067 or 1068. I think pre-market this is done. This move to the upside is done, and the move was coming from the oversold conditions here. I think that push, there you go. So this happened during the pre-market itself. So this move, I think, is pretty much done. So we'll look to push down on this trend to continue, or or maybe at this point, maybe there's a good chance that if we go back and test this 21 again. But if it clears the 21, then we're looking for a push into this number, 1069. And if market, I don't know for what reason the markets will rally. Excuse me. But if the markets do rally, what is VIX doing? VIX still has something. So just in case the markets do rally, then Tesla would be the prime candidate to push into this number 1090, 1089. And based on this 1060 or 1070, gonna push into 1080, 1084, something like that. So if markets rally, this is the prime case for Tesla. If not, we are still looking good to test this number 1016, and most likely will push into 1000 today. And if it breaks, then we're looking to test this number 790s. And the mean is sitting here. And if if the thesis holds true, then if it enters this zone 1015 and below, then we are looking for a test of mean 971. Might not happen today, but there are very good chances of if it enters this zone, this will take a hit 1070 972 or something. Banks. This is very interesting, and we've been saying that the range is from this line 343 something to this 30. It was here 303 something, but now it's pushed up. So this is the range that you're looking to play 310 to 343. So if you're into passive, whatnot, or if you're into active, this is the range that you're playing. And I think it's not probably an ephemeral bounce, but it's not going to stop here. I think it will push down into 300 something, unless unless somebody knows something else. Bank earnings are next week, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe next week or later next week sometime. So and market if the markets push or down, then this is where it will end up 303. This is exactly where it will end up. But in the meanwhile, if we can get it to this number, so here, right here, it should bounce somewhere around this area 309. And 100 is not that powerful average as 200 is. So it might be an ephemeral bounce and it will push through this into 303 area. Goldman Sachs and all the banks are doing the same thing. But for now, I think because it has come down so much into its third standard deviation, we will look for a little bit of upside, just like we did yesterday with Microsoft. Push up and come right back down. If it pushes up, it might run till 320 or something, right about 321.50, and then it has to come back down. That's with that's with this thing, Goldman Sachs. And let's do Walmart.
Mark, can I ask a quick question?
Yes, sir.
With SPX today, is VIX
Mhm.
gonna have any effect on it or no paying attention to VIX?
No, VIX is everything. Without
Okay.
VIX, there's nothing. And I should be talking about VIX in a minute.
Sorry, thanks.
Yes, sir. Tesla pushing down as we speak. I think Walmart will continue its push unless maybe a breather here and there, but unless something drastically changes, Walmart I think will continue. All right, so this is what is happening with Walmart, and still we're in an uptrend, continuous uptrend. And the other day, I think on Monday, I was trading this line, a push above this line. I got in and then got out of that trade. Should have got back in, but did not. We pretty much knew it's going to go into all-time highs, and it did go into all-time highs there yesterday. And let's see what we can expect next. I think a breather. Breather is pretty much expected for Walmart right now. Uh, yeah. So I I don't really have anything here to go with. And I think this is so weekly is exhausted, daily. Well, if it pushes into this number, uh, 156.56, then I will short it. If it pushes into this number, I will short it. Most likely, this needs to get resolved, and this needs to get resolved. This will have to get resolved. At least it has to come back down to its eight. And my theory about this sort of situation is come back to eight, break eight, and go back and test its mean 152.90. That's my theory about it. And if we get lucky, 152.44. But this is how it has to work out. At some point during the day, it has to come back down and test the mean, and then bounce. The RSI is starting to come down, but this average of RSI, that is the thing that starts to push down, that needs to push down. And if you see this sort of action on the green line where the RSI average is starting to push down, then you can take it short. I think this is prime for short. At least a dollar, at least a dollar. If it can come down here, that'd be nice. Might be a slow grind down into this number, but it has to come back to this number, just like it did here, just like it did here, just like it did here. This is how exactly it functions. Comes back down, gets overbought, comes right back down to the mean, hits the mean, pushes up, comes right back down, hits the mean, pushes up, hits the mean, pushes up. So that's the action that I think should prevail again today. Same thing has to come back down, hit it mean, and push back up. And once the average is starting to move down, that's when you can confirm that it is going to come back down. Right. VIX. The VIX is doing its thing, which is pushing down. And here it found its bottom and starting to push up now. And this was the critical area that we were looking for, I think, yesterday, day before yesterday. I forgot. This was the area 210 to 220. So we cleared that. So this was acting as major support. We cleared that. I think we cleared this one as well. So VIX is showing some promise. And next, I think 2350. This is where it should head if it pushes up. I don't see VIX going beyond this number around here. The mean should hit, the monthly mean should hit, and I think it should come back down. And right now, I think where is 22? Yeah, so 25. I'm not expecting this from VIX, uh, simply because there's no reason for VIX to get irritated right now. That might change depending on what the earnings will look like or what the short-term outlook is, and how fast this 10-year ticker pushes up. 10-year, I think, will take a breather right about somewhere. We'll go through that one as well. So VIX, it hit the daily, came right back down. So I think VIX should give after it is coming back down, but the average is still pushing up. So VIX, I think, should give one more push up into this number, or at least to the mean. Beyond that, I'm not seeing VIX as a viable threat today. But this thing, you see this thing here, MACD, it is about to make a crossover, so we'll keep a keen watch on this, just like what we do every single day. If I see anything change here or in the technicals, I will let you know over the voice. And another thing is this. So I think this is done pretty much going up. We were predicting this to come back down to what 257 something and push up. That's what it is doing, and the reason is right here. This is where I'm expecting it to hit somewhere around 2.69, and I think this should whatever this number is, 2.67. So whatever this number is, I think it will hit this number, maybe smidge up into 270, but then it has to come back down from there. At least temporarily for today, this is my expectation for it to hit this number. And I think if it clears above 2.7 and starts to go nuts, markets will panic. Markets will panic if it crosses 200 on the monthly and starts to push up. Markets will definitely take a look, notice of this, and will start to panic. This move is, look at this. The month is 1.8, and it is threatening to push into 2.8. 1 point on the month. So yeah, you can understand how, what kind of move that was. So watch this space. And I think if it gets above 2.7 something here, markets will spook. Okay, it should come back down. So let's see how much will it come down. And again, one another thing, if this thing comes back down violently, that will spook the markets as well. But just in case, if it, keep in mind that there is a ceiling, not a real ceiling, but if this hits here, and I think it should come back down from there, then I will be looking to play something like a Microsoft or an Apple after the hit. And if it comes back down, or maybe I'll pick up, high beta name, something like a Snow or maybe Darku. Those are the names that I'll look to. Adobe, if it hits this number here and starts to come back down gradually, I'll be looking to play those names. Those should be good candidates. All right, guys. I think 3 minutes to the bell, and I will. Most of the time, I will not be watching these charts today, so I will be. I think I need one more monitor for myself, or one more TV, so that I can run this setup on my. So I don't. I never used to use desktop version, but I am now. So this will occupy one of the TVs. That's the reason I will not be able to watch these charts, but I'll be trading SPX and SPY exclusively, and I will be streaming that.
Are you
All
trading
right.
SPX off the open door?
Um, I don't know.
Futures are looking down, so I'm presuming SPX has to catch up to futures, right? With
Oh
a
yeah,
delay.
oh yeah.
Okay. Cool.
And
Thank you.
yes, sir. And the SPY was oversold on the lower time frames that made it back up to 44, 45, 80 something, and it is again pushing back down. Let's see how much of a pushback down we'll get. And right now, you see SPY on 15, it is sitting at resistance support and expecting a bounce, maybe ephemeral here, but it needs to move back down. All right, guys, I'll see you in Sanity in a minute.